Why am I leaving America after 30 years of living here? That is a big question, and today I'm going to answer it. A lot of you who have watched me for a while know that I've actually left California after 30 years because that's where I lived most of my life here. I am in Houston, Texas now. However, I have decided to still leave. I will tell you exactly why. There's a bunch of small reasons that have mainly been solved by moving out of California, but there is one big one. Let me know if you can guess what it is. Definitely let me know in the chat. And now, if you've been watching my channel, you know I am going to Thailand. It may not be the final destination for me. I'm just moving to a country where I have a lot of friends. They, kind of told me over the last year. As I've been thinking about it, how to set up my life there. But I may end up in a different Southeast Asia country, or maybe even Africa or South America. The point is actually to leave. Now, don't forget, I'm an immigrant. I wasn't born here. My family came here for a better life, and a better life we did get. Forever grateful to this country. I mean, my life wouldn't be, let me move the camera a little, my life would not be even close to what it is right now with the opportunities, with, so this is not an America bashing video. This is the reason I kind of wanted to make this video is not just to tell you guys why, because a lot of you guys been asking me this question, but maybe some of you are in a very similar situation, and maybe just knowing that other people are going through the same thing may actually help you guys cope with it, or make some decisions about what you want to do about your situation. Because again, i I have discovered that I wasn't the only one living in this new weird universe. So now, like I said, there are a few reasons, but there is one big one. Now let's go over the smaller reasons. Now, one of them is the fact that I didn't want to make this video. I didn't want to do this live video because something like this can get me canceled. A lot of people have gotten canceled for saying things that, even though I will be only sharing either facts, the data that I've seen online, and in sources that I've checked, or my true personal experiences and experiences of my friends and family. So, and yet you can get canceled. The reason for that is, and this is one of the problems, I think, and let me know again in the chat room if you agree or not. Um, One of the problems is that we now value feelings over facts. And so it is very easy to offend someone, and by no other reason because they just don't like it and their feelings are hurt. And that is enough to be canceled. Offending someone is now a crime. And because, we live in a social media world, and social media is run by very few companies. This one's run by Google. And they have their own policies that are vague enough to where a bunch of people over there in Mountain View, California, decide that they don't really like you and their feelings are hurt, they can kick you out. And this is my livelihood. This is how I make a living. So I will be as careful as possible. I mean, obviously, I do not believe I'm violating any of the terms of use here, but you guys gonna have to also read between the lines here. Agreed? Okay. Biden is the reason I'm leaving, with Biden asking one of you guys. No, that's not the reason. The reasons are not political. As a matter of fact, if you watch my video about why I moved out of California, you would know that it's not political at all. I'm an independent. So yes, I know I moved from California to Texas, but I'm an independent. It has nothing to with the politics. Now, what I've described to you right now is obviously sort of the symptom of how woke we all got. And I know woke is usually applied to liberals, right? And is probably, and by the way, I used to be woke. Woke used to be good. Woke used to mean that you care and acknowledge and sympathize with struggles of minorities, right? And I was totally on board on that. But just like almost everything in our world now, we go too far with everything, right? So now woke, essentially what it become is that if you don't agree with my opinion, you, my friend, must die, right? And it doesn't really matter what facts are out there. It's just if you just don't agree with me and my feelings are hurt. So John says, what do you mean by canceled? Well, they can, well, I already decided that I'm not going to monetize on this video. As you can see, I have no sponsors, but they can remove this video. They can give me a copyright, not copyright, a community strike. And if you get three of those, you would lose your channel. Now, luckily, I don't, this is an electric car channel, so I'm not planning on making content like this. But it is definitely a possibility of this video being out there. So now woke is a problem. Second problem is we've become way too violent. This country is way too violent, and there is no surprise. I don't mean to sound like an old fart, but kids play computer games, and the computer games used to be like, I know I'm playing a computer game, but now they are so real, and you get points for, I don't want to say the word, right? And it's very graphic, so it's no surprise that kids do not sometimes connect the computer game and reality, or they connect it, in a very, very dramatic and tragic ways. If you go to, you can go to a family restaurant and see MMA fighting or whatever it's called nowadays, right? Which essentially is human cockfighting, right? Where two people, men or women, fight each other until one almost kills the other, except for we go like, okay, that's enough now. And kids can see that, and no surprise that our culture has become very violent. I have always been anti-violence. I have never been in an actual physical fight, and I'm 46 years old. However, a couple of years ago, and I hate guns. I just don't like guns. And yet, a couple of years ago, I got a gun and a concealed carry license in California, and now here in Texas. And I carried a gun every day. Every day, I felt uncomfortable leaving my home without a gun. Me, the guy who didn't even know, I never even seen one in person except for on a cop. So it's that's a problem. And I'm going to a place where there is no violence. It's literally not in their culture. Violence is essentially a result of so many things going wrong with culture. So if you go to an old school society, even stealing is unacceptable and disrespectful to another human being. Um, so let's go. And the third one is actually comes to respect. I've noticed that people just do not have basic courtesy and respect to each other anymore at all. We've created words to describe how we now disrespect each other all the time, from ghosting to quiet quitting. All of these are disrespectful traits that we all got. Um, and it's now I do have to say that once I moved out of California, and I could have settled it, I drove through the country a little bit. I settled here in Houston. Um, I could have stayed in many other places. Oklahoma City was also great. It's just a little, boring. No offense. It was a great place. Um, people are not as woke, and they're much more respectful here. I do have to say I got that back. But I can also see it coming. I can see it coming little by little. The symptoms that I'm seeing here now were the symptoms that I saw in California 5, 6 years ago, and I know it's coming. Um, but let's get to the big reason, and it is modern dating and modern Western women. And I know this is by the way, if you are single, you probably know what I'm talking about. However, if you're coupled in any way, married or dating someone for more than several years, you would think that I am lying to you. You would think that this makes no sense and this is crazy. Now, this won't make sense, and this absolutely is crazy. But I'll tell you that it's happening not just to me, um, and normally I was always in a better shape than other men. I have to say, I earn good money, and I'm still in a pretty good shape and have most of my hair in my age. I have a very exciting career, and I travel, and I have good education. Usually I normally did better than most guys. Not anymore. Not anymore. There's zero value to me here in America as a what it used to be called a high value man. Not anymore, because value obviously depends on the market. So yes, Roger does make a good point. No Chipotle where I am going. As you guys know, I go to Chipotle every day for the last 10 years. I will have to my entire life will change. Chipotle, Amazon, like speaking the language to everybody, right? Like all of that is going to change. All of that is going to change. So I am very much aware that this is a major change. But this is why I wanted to you guys to understand how badly things have gotten to for me to change all of this. So let's talk about it because there's a lot to unpack here. By the way, let me know in the chat if you are a single guy or if you are coupled. Or maybe if you are a woman, that would be actually great to have some women here to get their opinions. Now, let me tell you what's been happening, and I can't emphasize enough that this is not just me. I've just came to the realization over the last 5 years as I became single. I've never been single for this long, and I'll tell you why it's not just me. First of all, there are many people who've become very famous influencers and celebrities over this topic just in the last year or two. Obviously, Andrew Tate is probably the most famous one, but there's Jordan Peterson. There's quite a few of them, and every single one of them, by the way, got canceled one way or another. Some deserved it, some did not. There is also even a girl. There's a girl there, Pearl Davis. She talks about she advocates for men, for modern single men, and the the she also got canceled from TikTok just by basically calling women out on what's been happening in the last several years. So as you can see, if there is a new genre on social media and media in general, and these people becoming very popular and controversial, it's not just Alex bitching and complaining about, oh, I can't get a girl here in America. And again, I every single male friend that I have, and my male friends are all legit dudes, like husband material, and they can't either. So here's the thing: women have changed. So let's dive into that. By the way, I'll tell you, I figured all of this out. It was hard to figure out because it was so unreal, but I figured it out, and I will explain to you what's been happening. It's been like 5 years for me to figure this. At first, I thought, oh, that's just Sacramento women are weird, right? And then I moved to Vegas, and I was like, oh, they're here too. And then I was like, all right, it's probably California, but once I traveled around and I settled here in Houston, Texas, where culture is very different, and I realized it's the same problem, and I started seeing all other men around the Western world talk about it, I realized that yeah. So now I'm going to talk about how women have changed the game. However, let me be very clear: I do not blame women for their behavior. I blame men for this, and I will explain a little bit later about that because I want to tell you guys that again, you married folks and couple folks are gonna have your mind blown. But there are now 5 types of men here in the United States, and 4 of the terms I'm just about to tell you, we had to invent in the last 12 to 24 months. We had to invent terms for categories of men that kind of as a result of what's been happening in modern dating. So number one, incel. Now I've only heard this very recently, but it stands for involuntarily celibate. These are the men who, a lot of them are good men. They're just average or sometimes below average, and they just cannot get a girl anymore because women only want every single woman wants a perfect 10 nowadays. And I'm exaggerating a little, but these men just and the number is staggering. Number one. Number two, again, a new term: men going their own way. That's a category, that's a hashtag. These are men who can get women. They just don't want to deal with them anymore, with the modern women that what has become in the last several years. These are the men who said, I don't want to come up to a girl at the club, coffee shop, wherever you meet women, just so she can ghost me, or maybe she'll get free dinner out of it first and then ghost me. Or she'll show up on a date, just like looking like a homeless person. Just they don't want to do it anymore. They decided to concentrate on their careers, on self improvement, their health, their families, and so forth. They're just not dating. As a matter of fact, the majority of single men that I know, that's right. There's an acronym MGTOW. You guys know what I'm talking about. Um, Somebody says Alex going off the deep end. No, no, that's okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. Yes, I am going off the because this is how crazy things have become, Timothy. I totally agree with the fact that all of this is crazy. But you have to understand, for me to move out of the country I lived in for 30 years, some of it might be true. So pay attention. I hope it's if, especially for you guys who are coupled and married or whatever it is, at the very least, entertaining. Even you can enjoy my sadness. Um, Now number three category, it always existed. I'm gonna go ahead and go with pay to play. You know what I'm talking about, and it has expanded majorly. And I will actually talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. I actually have a friend who is multimillionaire, educated, fit in his 30s, and he has decided to replace relationships. Just generally, no more relationships. He's not even trying to get. He's replacing it with four types of women in his life, um, all paid. One is cleans his house, another one who cooks his food, another one is to give him massages, and the fourth one, what she does for payment, right? And together, for him, he has a perfect relationship. It's not a plan A for him, but it's a plan B. And for many, well, he can afford it, right? But for many other men, that's it's just an option. So again, this category has expanded in the last several um, years. Let's go to the next one. And this one is also a new term, passport bros, which I hate the term, by the way, passport bros, because I don't consider myself a bro. But passport brothers or whatever, passport kings, I guess there's another one, is men who are no longer willing to put up with the dating culture in America, in the Western world. And because we are able to, we well, and I'm just about to do the same in 10 days. We're just moving to a different country with a more old-fashioned gender role society, with more traditional women, more feminine women, and we're not bringing them back. By the way, like I know it used to be called what's mail order bride, right? When a guy would go overseas, get a girl, come back. We're not. None of us are bringing it back because we know what's going to happen if we bring them back, right? There's no point of them doing all this thing. We're staying there. I will most likely live overseas for the rest of my life. Never say never, but still. And the number five category, yeah, yeah, I agree. It's so sad. It's almost funny. I know, and you will see. Listen, I expect a lot of the comments being um, people just not accepting reality, or people not even being aware that this is a reality. Um, so, and I see a lot of comments I want to answer, guys. I'll just try to do it a little bit later because happening. And like a lot of people don't know, men don't haven't made sense of it yet, right? Especially if you're recently single and you go like, say, what world am I living in right now? All right. So the fifth category of men, and this is like a majority, I would say 90% or over of men, and this is a new term. Let me know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a simp. SIMP, simp. So it's a man who basically um, gives women a lot of attention for no good reason that they did not deserve. I'll give you, and by the way, we've all simped. We've all done a little bit of that. And I still do it once in a while and I go, like, oh, I'll give you a good example. You see a pretty lady at the bar, you come up and you say, hey, can I buy you a drink? Now, that's a version of simping because you're just about to give her your money essentially, except for you just handing it over directly to a bartender instead of to her, and she's saying it. But you're just giving a girl money for cheap party, right? Now, there are many other ways, how men simp, but it's essentially where you're so afraid you're going to not get a girl or lose a girl that you started doing all these things for her that are not really earned. And at the end of the day, a lot of these women lose respect for men like that, and they end up breaking up with them or getting divorced. So you can't win, right? But I think a lot of men have recently become simps. They haven't realized it yet because it's sort of a natural sort of reaction, right? As women became more sort of um, mean, let's just go with mean. The counter sort of action is to be more nice, right? Just, well, let me be nicer. Maybe they'll be less mean. Unfortunately, that only turns them off more. And we can talk about it some other time. I'm just kind of giving you 5 categories of men. So if you're joining me right now, they're incels, men going their own way, pay to play, passport bro in 10 days, and sims. Now, the symptoms of this have started to appear at least when I became single 5 years ago, and you probably can see them. Let's go over some symptoms, right? One is ghosting. And I know it's unfortunately became very acceptable in our culture. I think it's unacceptable. I know we kind of have to live with it. But you can meet a girl on the app, you can meet a girl in person. I've done 50-50 in the last year or so. I have no problems coming up to a girl at the coffee shop, at the restaurant, at whatever. I don't do clubs really anymore. It's useless. If you're really looking for a relationship, it's very unlikely. Um, and asking for a number. And what a lot of times happens is you text the girls, hey, this is the guy you just met, and you receive nothing in return. Or you talk a little bit back and forth, and then she just disappears. Whether it's in person or on dating apps, it's kind of the same sort of um, same result. And that's why a lot of men are going their own way, right? Why bother? A lot of men obviously don't like to be rejected. They're afraid of rejection, and so coming up to a girl is a big deal. And fortunately for me, I always, whenever I see a girl that I like, I come up to her because the pain of the regret of not doing that later is so much harder and more painful for me that I know it's easier to go and get rejected. Plus, I figured out how to almost never get rejected. If you want to know, I'll give you a quick instead, carry a conversation, but instead of asking a girl out or for her phone number, right? That's the biggest question you're afraid of. I never do that. I always say, hey, by any chance, are you seeing anybody right now? Right now, if she says yes, you go like, oh well, great, of course, that kind of makes sense. Very lucky guy, good for you. It was great chatting with you, but you didn't get rejected, right? You just been told that she's not available. Because essentially the question is, hey, if I ask you for a phone number, will you give it to me? And if the girl, and by the way, if the girl is single but she doesn't want to give you a number, she'll say, yeah, I'm seeing someone, and it's okay. I don't like people lying, but there's an exception, right? Um, so but as you know, ghosting is a thing. Flaking is another one. I'd say 2 out of 3 times I show up to a date. If ghosting doesn't happen for some reason and there is a date, I show up to a date and the girl's not there. And I don't mean like she called it off. I mean she just didn't show up and didn't communicate, and you can't get a hold of her. I also, or the girl would be like 20 minutes late. I personally leave after 10 minutes if there is no communication. So flaking, right? Again, this is part of our culture, unfortunately, or I should say Western culture. But in dating, it really makes a big difference. Running late, I'm reading my notes. Like I have a lot of notes that I came up with last night because this is a lot. Fourth one, women don't really see value in being feminine anymore, right? Usually a girl would dress up on the first date, dress up, heels, makeup, hair. A lot of times that's not the case. The last first date that I went out in America, which kind of was a was the last one, I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. She literally looked like a homeless person. In Crocs, in hair was a mess, no makeup, and just baggy clothes. Like I don't know, like even Goodwill doesn't sell that kind of clothes. If you bring it to Goodwill, they're like, no, we don't take. No, nobody wants that. No, we're not going to take it. So um number 5 is masculine behavior. Just the way women have started to behave is much more confrontational, much more aggressive, much more, that hasn't used to be the case. Number six, and this is where I get a lot of pushback, but I'm gonna just say it: tattoos. Tattoos are not feminine. As a matter of fact, tattoos originally, at least in modern history, come from jail, from prison. Um, and there are many reasons why tattoos are not feminine on women. They break the lines of the female body. If you just put bunch of, I personally don't. I think most tattoos look like a drunk 5-year old just drew something and then it fell in the puddle, got kind of blurry, and then it was kind of projected onto the skin. Um, but tattoos are not feminine. I don't care what you put on that. You could be a rose. They are not feminine. Um, yeah, I know it's an interesting take on tattoos, but at the end of the day, you gotta. I'm just being honest. It's you go to other countries where women are still very feminine, you won't find tattoos. The only women that actually have tattoos, I shouldn't say the majority of women who do have tattoos in the old school cultures are hookers. All right, I do have a super chat, so I will prioritize it. It's from Born Under Saturn. Says, oh, okay. So it just describes the little icon that you send because this chat doesn't understand that. Okay, well, with thumbs up in there. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for 12 euros. That's let's see, about almost 400 Thai baht. I better get used to that currency now. All right. Let me get back on track here. Sorry if I missed. Did I miss any other super chats? Sorry, I was just kind of going on. All right. Now, why is this happening? What is happening with women that's forcing to do this to men, and the men changing it? Well, first of all, feminism, right? Now, feminism, I was on board with feminism. Feminism was all about equality, but equality of rights, but not equality of everything, because men and women are not the same. I didn't like the whole notion that we have that we're exactly the same in every single way is not true. And it went too far. We take everything too far nowadays, right? I just talked about wokeness. Like wokeness was good until it was taken too far. Now, women have always been, not always, in the very recent, couple of recent decades, been taught to go for the careers over family a lot of times, right? So a lot of women don't even sort of pop their heads into like, let me seriously date until they're 30. Um, and sometimes it's too late, or you kind of need to have a couple of relationships behind your belt to become a good partner to someone, a potential partner. So a lot of women don't even put themselves in that situation until the age of 35 and 40, and by then, I hate to say it, this is how people get canceled, but a lot of times it's too late. It's too late. um this is a controversial one, and again, I'm just going to be telling you facts and people will go freaking nuts over this. Single mothers, single mother households, um a lot of times it repeats itself, right? Especially if you're female, and you don't have a strong male presence in your life, you end up having to grow up to be a strong woman, which is a turnoff to a lot of men, because essentially you kind of have to be masculine and play a role of a man. And those women a lot of times end up seeking men and end up divorcing them and repeating the cycle. But a lot of times when a woman grows up to, I mean, there are definitely really really bad consequences for boys who grow up to be without fathers, but since we're talking about women, um you know I mean, and a lot of times I've talked to women, I said, you could be a little bit more feminine, and she's like, well, I grew up this way, right? My only example of how to be a woman and how to treat a man was from my mother, and she was a warrior, and because she had to be to raise me. That makes sense. But this is a consequence of that. And there are a record number of single mother households now, and children raised without a father figure. Um, so uh, it's finally caught up with us. And by the way, I am being very very sensitive and as non-cancelly as I possibly can. And let's get to the number 4 here on my list. And this is uh, this is a big one. Social media and social media and dating apps. Here's what it has done. A woman can go on um, Instagram and post a picture from her night out with her girlfriends in a club, in a short dress and everything, and have a million guys, because a lot of guys use Instagram as a dating app, right? And she can do the same thing on Tinder or other apps, post a profile and get hundreds, but a lot of times thousands of men going after her, giving her compliments, simping. Now, when that happens, what do you think this girl is going to think? She's going to think that I am a princess. I am a perfect 10 because look at all these men offering me all of these things, right? Because simps will throw money and compliments, two things you do not want to throw at a woman if you really want to be serious about it. And that's basically makes a girl who could be an average girl, which is okay. Average girls are good. But now she thinks she's a supermodel and an Instagram model. And this loses the perspective of what kind of men she can get, right? If an average woman now thinks she can get a movie star because that's how she's being treated on social media. And it's very easy to mistaken this. Um, uh, you know, it, you start acting this way, right? You start acting like your princess. You start acting like an Instagram model, uh, and then who? This is why there are incels, right? There's some guys who are just average. They're good men. They may not make 100K a year or more, but that's what's required for those women who normally would pair up with an average man. Say no, those eights and nines and tens, I guess. Not I guess, that's what they're saying. And I have to say, my female friends are pretty much all this way. And it it's a problem. So essentially, when you are offering kind of a inflated value where you don't actually have, and but you're actually going for the higher value, then it's a mismatch. And a lot of these higher value guys use this women, right? Because it's easy girl, right? The mistake that a lot of these women make is that they think that all of these guys after her, they're all potential husbands, or maybe half of them are. The problem is none of them are a lot of times. And that's why both sides are unhappy. As a matter of fact, a lot of these women don't even know what a good man is. If you ask a woman, what is she looking for? Education, a career, lack of criminal record, or someone who doesn't lack, someone who is a good man, who doesn't abuse, who does, is no longer in top 3 or 4. Like I asked women, and I was like, "Well, don't you think it's important to know what the guy does for a living, or what education he has?" And none of that matters anymore. Um, so a lot of times, I feel like what a perfect, good potential husband is, that template has completely changed for women. So I used to be a very good candidate to be a husband. Not anymore. Not anymore. Let's see. Is this chat going like crazy? Do I need to start banning people? Okay, get off. Okay, here's a good comment. Um, get off the freaking internet and meet people in real life. Most of the women I asked for dates and numbers were offline, not on dating apps. The dating apps is a reflection of the reality. So there is no difference between asking a girl out or matching with her on a dating app and coming up to one at the coffee shop or the grocery store. The result is now the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you. How this is a bigger problem that you guys actually think that even it is. Um. So, um, and because we, and because women don't really even understand what men want, they kind of created their own idea of what men want. For example, A lot of women say, well, I have a good career, I make my own money, I don't need your money. That's not a plus. I'm independent. That's not a plus. I have strong opinions. You can talk to me about anything. That's not a plus. Tattoos is another one. Um, oh, I'm not dating right now. I'm finding myself. But with men, actually, we're still the same. uh, we want very few, very basic things. Men look for and appreciate beauty, and feminine qualities, kindness. Um, it, a lot of us look for submissive women, kind of gender rolled. So that's a good comment. Let me find it and put it on the screen. Uh, yeah, that's funny. Your pink watch might scare a real woman. Um, it doesn't actually, and it's not pink. It's hot pink, and the watch is to match my huge pink T-shirt, but I'm okay. Pink looks good on men. If you wear it right and if you can carry it. All right, let me. I'll get to the chat in a little bit. So where are we at? By the way, here's another thing I wanted to say. From what I am seeing, the demand for any type of financial compensation for a lot of women, uh, that group has grown. There are now sugar babies. Do you guys know what sugar babies are? Right? It's essentially kind of a subscription prostitution, if you will. Right? It's where a girl gets paid to be in a relationship. Um, and there are many other behaviors like this. I would suggest to you that half of the women that you see, at least on dating apps and online, 20 years ago would literally be considered hookers, you know, because a lot of them now ask for some type of financial compensation. Um, so, and listen, they can do whatever they want, but dating apps have used to kick all of them out. Now they do not. Women will bluntly ask for literally a Cash App donation to even just talk to them. And then there could be price list, there could be, what do you call it now, allowance list. And the dating apps have now not only allowed, kind of encouraged it. So the dating apps have turned into essentially a hooker central. That's why things have gone kind of um, south there as well. Dating apps have a lot to answer for. That was one of them. Another one is allowing so many fake profiles, but the majority of it is. But if you confront a girl, say, "Hey, listen, what's the point of matching with me and carrying a conversation if you're going to ghost anyway? You wasted everyone's time." You know that you can look up in their terms of use. That if a girl considers that you made her uncomfortable by calling out her bullshit, you will lose your account just because of that. Dating apps are very woke as well now, and I'm sure you've noticed that. Let me know in the chat. Um, let me get another one. Um, that is okay. Bobo. Have you tried treating women as people rather than in vessels for you know what? Actually, I have. I am a gentleman, and I've treated women with nothing but respect. Um, the woman that I've been dating here in Houston is actually watching this chat right now, and I wouldn't have so many female friends if I wasn't treating women with respect. However, when I treat women with respect, I demand respect back, and my problem is that I and a lot of men do not get it back. So treating women with respect doesn't do anything anymore. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is the crazy part. This is the part that is crazy. Um, let's see. Let me finish sort of my and then we'll do some oh yeah, so the problem is women are not happy either with this, right? Because as a woman gets so much attention online and social media, and men start simping, it makes them feel that they're princesses and Victoria's Secret models, and they're trying to go for the guy who would be matched for that, even though the emperor has no clothes. So those women are not happy because one, those guys don't want them. The guys in the top 5% don't want an average girl who just feels that she is in top 5%. And or those guys go like, "Oh, easy, you know what?" And they use them up and then they drop them, right? Or they cheat on them. So women are not very happy either. And I have to say, every single female friend that I have are kind of in the same boat. Um, a lot of times when a girl makes 100K, 200K, she kind of looks for a guy who makes at least the same or more. And guess what? All of a sudden, 99% of men disappear because of that. So they've, absolutely. And the record number of single women are on antidepressants. It's going to continue. The loneliness, the childless, the unmarried single women, those numbers have grown. The number of people dating, the number of people having sex, the number of people getting married, all has gone down. So when I told you guys in the beginning that I'm not just complaining for myself, um, this is um, this is the reality for all of us here in the Western world. I got a super chat. Let me read it. Says, any tips, outsider reviews? Any tips for insight for us and up and coming vehicle reviewer channel? We just kick off a month ago and we are 50 subscribers. This is one of the few times that I'm not talking about electric cars, because this is kind of more about what everyone's been asking about, why I'm moving. But really quick, follow Nick Nimmin and Daryl Eves, and that's what you probably should start with. There's a book called YouTube Formula from Daryl Eves. I would start there. But let me go back to the actual non-electric car topic that we're in the middle of here. So, all right, yeah. So, because essentially women kind of became men, and they forced men to become kind of women, and there's no more connection, essentially. Um, but let me be very clear. I despise the behavior of most single women here in the United States and abroad. This is why I'm leaving. I am 30 years here. I'm leaving my friends, I'm leaving my family, I'm leaving Chipotle and Amazon and everything. And it's very uncomfortable. Even like getting health insurance in Thailand, that's where I'm moving for the time being, was difficult. A lot of things are going to be very difficult for me. But the blame, who do I blame? It's very easy to blame women, right? Like the behavior is completely unacceptable. However, I blame us, men. We've allowed this, right? Who is in government most of the time? I know the number of women is growing, that's as representing in us in government, but it's still very much male dominated. It is what it is. However, divorce laws. Why did we pass the divorce laws where a woman literally gets paid to dump you? Why did we pass the laws that a woman gets paid to keep the children away from you? Who passed those laws? Men did. Well, suck it up then. We passed these laws. I would never get married here in America. I've been in long-term relationships that I hoped lasted for a while, for the rest of my life. Um, I would never get married here. Why would I mean? Just think of it from even a logical perspective. Would you ever sign an agreement when the other party gets paid to break the agreement? Literally gets paid. People talk about how, this independent women, there's more single women who own property, homes, their homes than men. That's because they took it away from men a lot of times. Yes, of course, there are plenty of women who earn their own money. But the reason this number is higher than for single men owning their own homes is because half of those women, again, I don't know the exact data, but a lot of them took it from the men. So, but whose fault is this? Ours. Ours. We allowed these laws to be passed. I've never heard anybody complain about it on political level. So they're that's our fault. We started watching commercials about 10 years ago, and said nothing about it. I'll tell you the kind of commercials, because if that commercial would be reversed, the brand would be canceled and go bankrupt, right? But how many times, how many commercials have I seen when a husband comes home after a long day at work, for which I'm assuming he has a career, he works very hard all day long, makes good money, looks like a nice car in a driveway, looks like a big house with a big kitchen. He greets his wife, and then there's some episode about a detergent, or I don't know, on tissues or whatever, where man looks like he's a complete freaking idiot, and a woman is the smart one who saved him, right? This guy who has a career and afforded this house and life for his family somehow is a complete idiot. And we buy this all the time. All the time, right? The man is a dumbass. The man is dumbass every time. We allowed for that. We didn't say, hey, wait a second. Right, the roles would be reversed. Oh my God, this is so sexist. We never buy from Downey or whatever. How dare they assume that women are stupid? Well, when we accepted a general purpose that we buy stuff from brands who essentially call us idiots, that's our fault. Then now we're being treated as idiots. So sorry, that's our fault. We allowed it. Every time you waited for a girl on a date while she's late and not letting you know, and you sat there, you're the problem. You should have left. Have some respect for yourself. Every time we allowed this behavior, every time you give a compliment to a girl for no good reason except for she's pretty, you contributed to the problem. Every time you bought her a drink just to talk to her, you part of the problem. Paulie B says, Alex, stay single and happy. Well, you're offering me to be part of the men going over going their own way category. Unfortunately, I can't. The way I'm built, and my parents are still together after 50 years. My life is better when I share it with someone. So unfortunately, I am kind of addicted to being in a relationship. I am very jealous of people like you, and I have a lot of male friends who just decided to stop dating women. Period. Not just dating, right? Um, they decided I'm going to be single and happy, and I just can't do that. I wish I could. I wish I could. As you can see, if I could, I would have stayed here. My life is very good here. In America, in Houston, I love it, but I just can't. I really do. I know, because I've been in 3 amazing relationships. I have. I would like to have a life partner. So we are to blame. We are to blame. Oh, when women started complaining that, our soccer players not getting paid enough, for soccer player men are getting so much more, and we're like, oh yes, yes, we should. This is, and then we come to find out that they're getting paid 3 times as much in terms of the percentage of the profits. It's just they don't make as much profits. And then you ask the same women, "Hey, was the last time you watched a soccer game, of female soccer game?" Like, "Oh, I've never seen one before." Remember that bullshit? We never said anything. And people who did initially, right now, it kind of became like, okay, yeah, that was those men. I think there were some of them news anchors. They lost their job for pointing out facts. And this comes to full circle of what I've been saying. Facts are now trumped by feelings. And when you hurt someone's feelings, you now offended them. And if you've offended someone, especially a woman, you must die. You must be canceled. That I can't live this way. I can't. And again, can't emphasize enough, it's our fault. It's fault of men. Until we man up and stop allowing this, stop simping, stop being afraid to say something, we're gonna continue being treated this way. We deserved this treatment. Absolutely. So where am I going? So I'm leaving for Southeast Asia. I'm going to land in Thailand. I see a lot of comments about this. So the reason I picked Thailand is not because I particularly love Thailand. I've never been. I've been around the world, but I've never been to Thailand. There are 2 things. One is low crime, traditional values, all of that. But out of those countries, because a lot of men are leaving for Southeast Asia, but a lot of them going for Africa, If you guys know, most of the time I prefer dating, black women, and so Nairobi, Kenya was one of my choices, and South America. So those are still very much traditional societies. However, for me, being a crime-free society is very important. Thailand is probably one of the safest countries in the world. But I also have several friends who live there, American Western friends who lived there for a while. So they kind of told me how to organize my life, what to expect, what are the drawbacks, and so forth. And on top of that, the values as I've described. Now, am I going to stay in Thailand? I don't know. Just like with California, I wasn't going to Houston, Texas. I wasn't driving to Houston, Texas. I was just trying to get out of California. And like I said, my life has really improved since then. So the goal right now is to get out of the Western culture. I know a lot of you saying, "Hey, come to London, come to." No, London is no better than America. uh, you know, Great Britain, it's still a Western society. I've been there. I have friends there. It's exactly the same. Maybe 1 year behind, but it's almost there. Um, so I'm going to the culture that's respectful, where you still have respect from one human being to another, where women are still feminine and submissive and appreciate masculine men. By the way, this new term, toxic masculinity, you know where it comes from, right? It's not toxic. It's just being a man, and it's just being a masculine. But now it's just being a masculine man, being an alpha male. Now is called toxic. We've accepted that. We shouldn't have. I'm not. That's why I am leaving. Um, Now, a lot of you are suggesting to date women from other countries who come here, or am I going to be back with a wife? No. The whole point is to be there to meet that girl and stay in that culture. If you bring that girl to America, the social media, her coworkers, her new friends, and everything will crush her into the type of a woman that I've just described that I'm running away from. That is a big mistake. As a matter of fact, some of my friends, like, I may not even pick a girl who speaks English. I might just learn Thai or whatever language I need to learn. So she doesn't speak English. So she cannot rewatch Sex and the City episodes. So she cannot watch social media from America that will essentially damage her. That is actually what a lot of my friends have done. Their wives and their girlfriends don't really speak much of an English. They've learned their language because they wanted to keep them in the culture with their values, with the family structure that they came there for. So I'm not bringing one back. Absolutely not. Um, let me mention one last thing uh, about what's going to happen to this channel, because people say, "Well, what are you going to do?" Thailand is there's no electric cars there. First of all, nothing is going to happen to this channel. As you guys probably know, I have filmed. I pretty much film all of my videos at home, wherever it might be. And I have, once I started criticizing electric car brands about what they have been doing to their customers, and for their investors, which are usually the opposite things, I've gotten banned from most of the media events, from most of the access, and I'm okay with it. There is a video coming up where I actually exposed what happened with Volkswagen and me. They literally wrote me an email, which was kind of stupid, telling me that I'm no longer invited to their events because they did not like that I've criticized their ID Buzz. And you'll see, like, I actually show an email. I just showed the email that they sent me. This happens all the time. So I've kind of disconnected myself from the physical industry, the media drives and so forth. I think I can cover the industry better when I'm not, hanging out with the brands, during lavish, like, vacations and stuff like that they provide for us when we do this media drives. And the video about that is coming in a couple of weeks. I've already filmed it and uploaded. Um, so nothing will change on this channel. As you can see, I'm pivoting this channel a little bit to more of a general audience and not so much the actual EV community, because the general audience is only now finding out about electric cars, and those are the people who I really want to start educating. But Thailand is starting to get electric cars and electric scooters. Tesla is now in Thailand. BYD, a few others, and I believe VinFast is going to be in Thailand pretty soon. The you know, I'm actually looking forward to going through an electric car revolution again, because here is just a matter of time, right? Here in Europe, it's just a matter of time how electric cars are slowly going to take over. Over there, they're in the early stages. They're where we were in like 2010, 2012. And I'm actually kind of think it's going to be fun to go through the same thing. And like I said, I might even consider buying a Tesla there, though that doesn't seem, I forgot that they don't sell Model S and Model X's there at all for many reasons, for many unfortunate reasons. So, but I would have considered it there because I wanted to be an ambassador of, and people going like, well, what kind of car is this? What is this? How does it run? Right. I want to go through that because, the city I'm going to live is Bangkok needs electric cars because it's hard to breathe there. That's going to be one of my number one issues, besides maybe the humid weather there, is the air. That is number one issue I'm going to have to deal with is the bad air quality. So it is it is going to be it's going to be a challenge. So I would expect no changes if I were you, and they're not coming to this channel except for like slow pivot that I'm doing. Um, and that's what's been happening with this channel. Now, let me now let me just reply to some of the messages. Mark says, say hi to Bjorn if you see him. That's right, Bjorn is from Thailand. I think there's a couple of electric car YouTubers who actually live in Thailand. There's a lot of YouTubers who live in Thailand. I'm looking forward to actually be part of Thai expat YouTube community there. It's definitely it's definitely going to be a treat. All right, so this we've lost the plot, dude. You've lost the plot. Well, I don't know what that means, but I'm done with the plot. Jonathan says, that's right. Running away from American women. I am from Western women. I don't want to just pick on American women. This is just a Western culture. And a lot of times, like I said, I don't even blame women for what's happening. I blame men who allowed this, us. Let's see. Amy, I've seen her, like, let's deal with some of the stuff that she said. He wants a girl that will let him will tell him how great he is. Now, this is exactly the type of woman that I'm running away from. She doesn't even understand a relationship between an alpha male and a submissive female. She thinks that it's some sort of like slavery or whatever, where you control a woman and you tell her what to do and she praises you and everything. It is not like that at all. This is a complete lack of understanding what a traditional family structure is. Amy, do you mind telling us if you? Well, you're probably going to lie, but I'm going to assume you're single, and I'm going to assume you're in your 30s and 40s at the very least. I'm quite certain you're right. I'm right about this, but Amy, you do not understand at all, and I feel bad for you because that's probably the way you were either raised or the way the society has kind of guided you towards this way. But I would really invite you to understand the benefits of being in this type of relationship. If you're a submissive female, you're there to support your man, and the man is there to support you. Now, the man is not there to sit on a couch and drink beer. The man is there to protect, to provide, to make sure that you and your family live in a safe community, drive safe cars, that you make good financial choices, that there is a financial future for you, and that your health is taken care of. All of these are the things that a traditional male should do. These are a lot of benefits for you to have. That's how a traditional man supports a traditional woman, and traditional woman supports a man in different ways. These are not equal relationship because men and women are not equal. It's not that you do the dishes today and I do the dishes tomorrow. I bring the food to the table, you cook it. That's how the world has gone, around for many millions of years, I'm going to assume. So, Amy, you do not understand at all what I'm talking about, and it's I can't wait not to have to talk to women like you. I'm sorry, I'm not even trying to offend you. I'm just telling you that it's almost like hopeless. You think that I want some sort of mini slavery for this, and I don't actually. Women who are been born and been raised to be submissive actually are very happy in relationships with men like me. And by the way, they are free to leave at any time. At any time. How about Canada? No. Canada is still part of the Western world. Plus, it's damn cold in there. I do love playing hockey, and it will be Tough to find hockey in Bangkok, which I don't, there are some hockey leagues there. I know I will enjoy it, but Canada is not. And don't forget, here's another thing: the visa situation in Thailand is very friendly to expats. You can literally buy a 5, 10, 20-year visa and stay for as long as you want, and you can buy another 20 years if you live that long, right? In Canada, I cannot commit and live there as a tourist essentially for as long as I want. So that's out for many reasons. Um, I agree with you, says Nalesh. You sound like Stephen Mark Ryan when saying men and women are not equal. Men and women are not equal. I don't know. Like, this is a crime to say. We are not freaking equal in so many ways. Biologically is one of them, you know? But I mean, I don't want to even go to the pay gap stuff conversation, but we are just not equal. And we shouldn't be. We should complement each other as two different sexes. This is not buddy buddy relationships that we're talking about. Um, Here's a good one. Freckless X20 says, "You're so full of yourself. You can think what I want. I genuinely don't care, but I've listed the facts. And again, it would be, by the way, it would be helpful when you guys try to comment me this way, which is fine, to tell me how old you are, if you're male and female, and if you're single or not, because that would help a lot. Um, let's see. Oh, here's one that I kind of like. Alex is awesome. I think so. American women don't, though. We'll see what Thai women think of this. Andrea says, "How about Norway?" No, no. Norway is still part. By the way, great country. I was there last year. Absolutely unbelievable. Obviously, over 80% of new car sales are electric. So kind of my work there is done anyway. And but it's still it's Western society. Um, Boba says, "Ha ha ha! Are you calling yourself an alpha male?" Not am I calling myself alpha male. I absolutely am. Let's see. FC says, "Oh my, this is entertaining. This channel was already not much. Now it went to further underground." So, okay. It. By the way, I love haters. I would say half of my audience watches me because they don't like me. And I welcome you guys every time. You are awesome. You give me so many views and I earn so much more money because of people like this guys. Hugs and kisses to you guys. Um let's see. I'm just Ah, this is an excellent point from Charles. You keep saying traditional, but don't mention kids. Yes, that is a little weird. However, a lot of couples choose not to have children. I don't have children. I don't want to have children. The reason for that is I want to spend all of my time with my partner and not having to be parents, because a lot of times when you're parents, you can't really be romantic partners a lot of times. Very few couples have accomplished that. I see friends get in relationships, be very happy, and then as soon as they start having kids, everything changes. And I don't want that. But you're right. I absolutely understand. There are a couple of other things that I'm not very traditional about. Um, that are, I don't know if I really want to should share them, but you're right. This is one of them. And yeah, but don't forget, I'm talking about traditional culture. So in a traditional culture, I can still find a girl who wants a traditional relationship without kids. I think that's going to be sort of a new version of being traditional. And a lot of women in Thailand actually don't have kids and choose not to. Um, here's a great, yeah, I know a lot of people saying, "Wow, you're talking about this on your electric car channel," but I already told you guys because a lot of you have been asking and me emailing me and messaging me. And then when I made a video about leaving California, a lot of you watched it more than you watched like a bunch of other videos about electric cars. And this is a live stream, so and it's obviously off topic. I made it very clear in the video and with the title. Jonathan Brown says, "Go to Thailand or whatever and create a second channel." I'm afraid to have a channel like that talks about it. It's very easy to cancel a channel. Like YouTube may cancel a channel like this. So I don't want to create a channel that might, I do have a personal channel that I do talk about things like this a little bit, but no, I definitely want to just continue concentrating on my electric car channel and all right, I think I'm gonna get rid of this little guy. I mean, he's been kind of being a little bitch for a while, and I think it's time for him to go. So Bobo, it's been fun. But if you're not contributing, if you're just here to be dick, but by the way, I mean, don't you have a job? Let's see. Boom. There you go. All right. So let's get scrolling. Jane Ramirez, find a good Chinese girl. Sure. Honestly, I don't care. Listen. I will date an American woman who lives in Thailand as long as she adapted to the culture, right? I don't care. It's just, I mean, again, like you guys know that probably followed me for a while. I prefer black women, but I will get over it if I find an amazing Thai woman or an American woman or Chinese woman. I'm okay with that. Uh, all right, there's a positive comment. Joanne, a woman. Are you a woman? Alex, I hope you will come and find a girl who will appreciate a man like you. Wow, that does happen once in a while. Um, oh, that's a very good point too. Everybody hit the like button. Life love for pizza. Yeah, guys, I know. How many likes do we even have? Let me see. Um, I'm just gonna look at my phone here. We have 13 likes. 13 likes this video has. All right. Well, I'm doing it also for myself because I kind of wanted to lay it all out. Today is my last full day here in Houston. I'm flying to California tomorrow to see my friends and family one last time, probably for a while. Go to places I love, like Santa Cruz, California. There's this one great place in Oakland that I go to and see some of like the regulars and the staff that are hopefully still there. So I'm definitely I am I'm I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my trip to California to see all of those places and people one last time. Like right now, more than I'm looking forward to Thailand. Thailand will happen, but let's see. Jonathan says Alex wants submissive girls. Yeah, yes, I do. Always dated one. Like I've always been in a relationship with submissive women who wanted an alpha male. Um, touche, touche, Amy. I just pooped on you a little bit before that, but this is good. Volkswagen of Thailand is thinking about banning Alex. I'm sure. I'm sure it will be. Um. Uh, Electric tuk-tuks. Yes. There will be more and more of them. Tuk-tuks is like a three-wheeled. A lot of times it's a three-wheeled sort of vehicle that has like can fit two people in the back. There are different kinds, but they're more common. Way more. I mean, more definitely. Tuk-tuks and motorbikes is what most people in Thailand go around, and of course we do want them to be electric. Um, the district says, "We thank you for what you do in revealing the truth." Um, you're welcome, genuinely, because I was very, and I'm still very, um, um, apprehensive about. Is this the right word? It, maybe I'll learn it in Thai one day. About doing this video because if you notice that there are two types of influencers who do videos about this. One are the ones that get canceled. By the way, there's only one channel that I've ever contributed financially to, and it's called I think Pearly Things or something like this. Pearl Davis, right? She's a female advocate of single men, of Western men, and even she got canceled off of TikTok. I think I already mentioned that. So I do contribute, and she got demonetized on YouTube. So I do contribute, I think $10 or $20 every month to her channel, so she can prosper because we do need females talking to other females about this because me saying this, as you can see, it causes really bad reaction. Um, but somebody has to say it. Oh, and the second part of channels that you see that are talking about these issues are all AI generated voice. People don't even want to reveal themselves. So they type it in, they don't appear on a screen, they just run B roll, generic B roll, and they have the AI read their text, their script, because they don't want to be canceled. Um, I would love to see Alex review European and Chinese vehicles. I will. So I'm thinking about a new way of how I'm going to be reviewing cars. I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reviewing the reviews of those cars, because how crazy the reviews have gotten. A lot of them are not really telling you guys the truth. So I will be telling you the truth, like doing the real reviews by citing all the BS that you're seeing in the reviews of the bigger channels. I'm thinking about it. Yes, I already addressed that. There are Teslas in Thailand, but however, I do not want to drive a Model Y or a Model 3. Those cars, you guys think I'm like hating on Tesla. I genuinely don't like those cars. I need the instrument panel. I want the blind spot indicators. I want my vents in the, manual vents, air vents. I want Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I want normal door handles. I want the HUD or instrument panel. I don't know if I mentioned that. I want all of that. Oh, and I want way more options on my steering wheel. So I mean, by all means, please buy them. If you like them, of course, please buy Model Y, please buy Model 3. They're electric cars. You love them if you do love them. They're just not for me. And they don't make Model S and Model X for Thailand because Tesla decided they're just not going to make a right hand drive Model S and Model X's anymore. And it's a right hand drive country. I'll be driving on, well, I won't be driving. I may never own a car again, guys. I may use fleets and Uber type of businesses from now on. Well, let's see. It's not a bad idea, Jay Ramirez. Alec, by the way, I appreciate you. You're here every time I go live, whether I do it every week or once in half a year, and you're here and you're always contributing. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Alex needs an electric robot girlfriend. You're so not far from the truth there, unfortunately. Um, let's see. Well, here's somebody saying something interesting. Mike says, there are no good women for marriage absolutely at all in California. Even the modest ones are looking for guy with money only. Um, that's very close to the truth. I will add this. There are some women who are marriage material. For example, a girl who was married out of high school and just happened to just get a divorce, right? And let's say she doesn't have any kids. She would be a very much that. She would be a marriage material. However, it will take her very short amount of time, maybe a year or two, to get into social media, to start being approached by Sims, whether she's with you or not, generally speaking, get all the attention, consume the media, and get essentially damaged into what you don't want. And this is why I'm not like moving out of California wasn't just enough for me. I do believe that I need to move out of the country. And like I said, if I get an English speaking girlfriend overseas, we guard her very carefully about the Western culture she gets exposed to. I I may not sign up for Netflix over there because I wouldn't want her to watch Sex in the City, right? Um, let's see. Jonathan says Alex needs to go to Brooklyn, New York, where all the Russians are. I'm Russian, but I'm not very Russian. The only Russian friends that I have, we all speak English to each other. We're all very much Americanized. Um, I'm just kind of going back to let's see. Okay. Jonathan's asking, you're addicted to being in a relationship. What the F? Be yourself and the chicks in a sphere of your life will find you. No, no. Yes, yeah, I agree. You do not desperately chase women. You become the best man you can be. Try to improve yourself every day, and it will attract absolutely the right woman. Now, don't sit at home all day long, right? Like, for example, I go to coffee shop every day to work, because I'm not going to meet any women at home here. It's just me in my loft here in Houston. But in the coffee shop, I there will be women, so you can't just do. But yeah, I agree with you. However, it's a different topic from I find and found always. And now that I'm 46 years old, so like I know myself at this point, right? I'm not 22-year-old guy who's trying to find himself. I know, and I can tell you, my best memories, the best experiences of my life have been in majority because I have a partner by my side, one of the three relationships I had. So that's just me. Believe you me, I would love to be like a lot of my friends and basically say, you know what? No more women. I'm good. Gonna concentrate on my career. Gonna keep my money. Gonna keep my house. Gonna travel. Whatever. I wish I could be that way. It would be so much easier for me. But this is just the way I'm built, I guess. Um, let's see. Uh, Brazilian women will make you happy. Now, that might be true. Actually, they're definitely my type. I will tell you that. Me and Sir mix a lot. Um, but the problem with countries like Brazil, right? Like the reason I didn't choose South American countries is security. You guys know I've carried a gun for the last couple of years. That's how concerned I've been to my security. And somebody suggested Philippines, also great country, right? In Philippines, everybody speaks English. And however, security is important. Thailand is by far, and maybe I'll find out more about other countries as I've moved out, but Thailand is extremely safe. There's just that's very, very, very important. Thailand is beautiful, says Nick. Absolutely. Never been there, seen pictures. I've been in the neighboring country of Vietnam, very similar climate, very similar beautiful nature. I will be living in downtown Bangkok, so we'll see about the beauty there. I will see if I decide to stay there or move. Kick Batter says California is notorious for being one of the worst places in the US for dating. Absolutely agree. But the thing is, you have to understand the American culture essentially comes from California. That's where most of the media is, media influencers, television, movies, and everything. I'm seeing a lot of California culture is here in Texas, little by little, because there are no borders, right? Um, let's see. I'm just putting some on the screen that I haven't read fully. Nick says, brother, as someone who has traveled the world and retired from the military, I think the best thing you can do is travel and meet people from other countries. You'll find someone you jive with. Yeah, well, I have traveled. Luckily, this career of being an influencer have made me travel. I was really afraid of, I was really, really scared of flying. Once I realized I'm going to need to do a lot of traveling with my channel, I had to go and take therapy, guys. I had to take therapy to be okay to get on a plane. And I love flying now. Granted, nothing scary happened to me. All of my travel experiences have been like I nobody even lost my luggage, but most of my friends have had engines blow up midair. Planes diving, nose diving for like 200,000 feet. Like they were all like calling their wives and girlfriends, saying goodbyes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, let's see. This is a funny comment. I'll let you guys read it. Oh, let's see. Amy. Amy used to actually submit pretty decent in the beginning of the live stream, pretty decent comments. She said, "Good luck in Thailand. Make sure you get your shots." Amy, I know what you're getting at. I already have the hepatitis B shot. That's the only ones you really need to get. For everything else, I have a brain. I will be very careful. Thank you for your concern, but I will certainly be in a position where I would need to worry about it, where here it's lately has not been. Super chats. Okay, so from Jonathan Brown, thank you for the super chat. Okay, there's one for $2 American, which is about 60 Thai baht. You can get an actual awesome lunch and even dinner sometimes in Thailand for that kind of money. The amount of money I will be saving in Thailand, by the way, this is not the reason. Like, I know a lot of people move there for that reason. And that's not, I earn good money. I can live in America, no problem. However, the tax breaks, of course, being overseas, and the fact that everything is so much cheaper. Um, I will never have to worry about money. Like literally, because of my passive income that I have, I will be able to actually, if I want to, never work in my life again. I don't want to. I want to work until, like, my dad, my father is 94 years old. He still works. He still works. It's amazing. Yes, biting insects. I get it. There will be things I'm gonna have to figure out there, right? The humidity, the heat. No Chipotle obviously is gonna be a crisis, but Um, let's see. Daniel, this alpha is scared of his own shadow. Well, yeah, I see what you're going. It's like, Alex, why are you so afraid of your safety if you're an alpha male? Well, I'm an alpha male who makes good decision about his safety and his family. That's what makes an alpha male. You're talking about a stupid macho man. You're confusing the two. A lot of people do. That's part of the problem. That's why I'm leaving, because Daniel, this is not an alpha male, a guy who thinks that I am like no one can rob me or attack me or shoot me, or like, no, you can be an alpha male and still get robbed at the gunpoint if you don't have a gun of your own, for example, right? So you're confusing an embarrassingly delusional macho man with an alpha male. Alpha male understand that we are breakable and that we need to be safe, and most importantly provide safety for your family, which in my case just includes my significant other. So that's very important, and in some countries you're just essentially asking for trouble. And I don't want to go, like, for example, I don't want to go to a country where, like, grabbing a girl's butt, like, out and about at the store by a male is perfectly fine, and if she complains she gets in trouble and not him. There are countries like that. Those are my concerns. I don't want to be in a country where I have to worry about my girlfriend being sexually harassed and not that she wouldn't be able to do anything. I don't want to worry about rapes and robberies and murders. That's my job as an alpha male, Daniel, to prevent that. Um, let's see. There's another one. I can't. Jonathan says, "I can't believe Alex is 46." Thank you. California is the worst for girls. Everyone left California and moved to Texas. By the way, a lot of people moved for tax reasons, right? And I don't mind paying taxes. I just mind where they're going. If my taxes in California would be going to the roads and bettering, but they're going to essentially people who don't want to work, and that's a problem for me. They're not going to the stuff that I'm going to use. They're going to stuff that is basically I'm subsidizing someone else's laziness. That's why I don't like paying taxes in California, and won't anymore starting in July. Um, and people move to Texas for a lot of times for political reasons. That wasn't my thing. To me, I love it here in Texas because people just still have basic respect for one another. And I got to tell you, people don't talk politics here. Honestly, out of every single person I've met, I have no clue in most of the time whether they're a Trump supporter, Biden supporter, whatever, DeSantis, you know what I mean? People look at each other as people like we used to in California, and not, I have not seen a Trump or Bernie or Biden or Hillary sticker in 6 months here. And I'm out and about all the time. In California, everybody pushes their politics in your face, right? You're defined by who you vote for. I don't like that. I like to look at other people. I listen, there are some people who voted for people I don't like, but I still want to treat them as human beings and not someone who hates America, you know? So that's a problem. Let's see. Who said alpha Alex is an alpha male? I did, because I am. Prove me wrong, buddy. Um, let's see. How can we be sure? Okay. Um, oh, Mike is asking, toxic masculinity, what's that? Apparently I need to go to the original message. You're talking about proper toxic masculinity. Okay, so Mockingbird. Okay, now you're talking about proper toxic masculinity. Okay, so this term is very new term, just like a lot of things, a lot of new terms that we have now because of what's been happening. Toxic masculinity is basically if you are a man who is exhibiting any type of masculinity, obviously alpha male do all the time, and you, for example, believe that a man should be a provider and a woman should be taking care of a man, that's toxic masculinity. A lot of times if you call a woman out on her bullshit, and there's tons of it nowadays, right? um like, for example, a 44-year-old single mother with a career that keeps her at the office 60 hours a week, who makes tons of money. needs no man, when you call her out saying you're not very attractive for a man you're looking for. We'd rather go with a 25-year-old waitress who is, agreeable, submissive, and feminine. That's what I just said as an example. That that's what's called toxic masculinity. Even though I just said essentially, one, I said something that's my personal preference. Secondly, I said something that's just a fact. Uh, and thirdly, I've heard a feeling of a girl. You see, that's toxic masculinity. Does that make sense? Let's see what else. Okay, let me just scroll to the latest ones. I was kind of scrolling. All right. Here's an interesting one. Mr. C. Ladies, stories like Alex are playing out all over the country. This is why you're always asking, where did all the men guys go? Excellent point. And I've addressed this in the beginning of the stream, right? Good men. Well, again, women don't even understand what a good man is, unfortunately, anymore. But let's just define a good man as someone who has a career, who's able to provide. We're not talking about six digits, okay? We're just talking about enough to provide a good, decent, safe life for him and his family. Someone who, hopefully educated, but a kind, good man. However, someone who makes good decisions, who's not a pushover, who's very, who is able to protect his family, um, and who doesn't is not a physically abusive, who can stand up for himself and his partner and his children, educated, hopefully well traveled, someone who is planning for his future financially, takes care of his health, treats women with respect, hopefully in good physical shape. You know, that's what used to be called a high value man. But you don't even have to be all that to be a good man and a good husband material, right? So where did all these good guys go? Well, you have basically forced a lot of these guys to become simps, and then you realize you don't want them. But a lot of us who's just stuck with what we are and didn't want to change and stood our ground, we're divided into two, right? One are men going their own way who just do not want to approach women or date women or put up with any of that bullshit anymore. You see that all the time. As a matter of fact, you can go out to quite a few clubs or bars out there and see tons of women and no men approaching them. And that's phenomenal. I've gone to a few places, lounges, and I'm like, what's going on? Like all these women over there, and just very few men who even showed up, and they don't even want them. Well, that's what it is. Men are now out just to hang out with their friends, um, and other men are like me. Again, I hate the hashtag passport bros, but whatever it is, what it is, we are just going to leave and find traditional women somewhere else who appreciate good guys like us. Yeah, women are complaining about this all the time, including my friends, my good female friends. They're complaining about the same thing. And no matter how much I explain to them why they're not able to get this man, they don't want to change. They don't want to change, and they don't understand that, you know, even if they do make good salary and have a career, when they come home, they're no longer a boss chick. They can be the boss when they come home to their man if they want a good man. They have to be submissive. They have to treat their men like men and not like their employees who are reporting to them at work. So it's amazing that those women would submit to their bosses, many times men, but not to their significant others who they love or they claim they love. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. Uh, Oh, yes, love. That's I guess it's true. Love for pizza says it takes a foreign guy to tell the truth to Americans. Well, it's not just that. It's that I'm in a unique position where I can't say this. If I had a job like I used to have, like for example, my last job was for Oracle. If I was to do a live stream like this and somebody would take this video and especially clip it in the way they want to and submit it to my boss in Oracle, I would get fired. So a lot of men cannot say that because they will be jeopardizing their jobs. Um, I, I like this is one video, right? Let's say YouTube decides that screw this guy, toxic masculinity. We don't stand for this kind of facts here on YouTube. And they remove my video and give me a strike. My channel, because I don't make videos like this, right? It's going to be back to electric cars. But if I would consistently talk about this, then my channel won't survive and then will be canceled and I will lose my income. Um, that's why I'm in this very, very unique position to actually be able to tell you this. And I've done a lot of research on this, by the way. This has been 5 years of me trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and then trying to explain to my married friends, because of course, they're like, Alex, it must be just you. You're crazy, right? Thank you for another $5, Jonathan Brown. I really appreciate the super chats. Did I miss any super chats, by the way? Checkbound says, my understanding of toxic masculinity was that the better example could be a cat calling a girl, catcalling a girl in the street and thinking you were doing them a favor when in fact you were just scaring them. Yeah, listen, listen. The original meaning of toxic masculinity was stolen, right? It was stolen. Yeah, it actually had a meaning, right? And we didn't actually need to call it toxic masculinity. That is just being a dick, right? So though, to be fair, and I'm once again gonna say something that's not that is toxic masculinity. There are plenty of women who admit it to liking the catcalling because it gave them attention. The catcalling is now on Instagram and on dating services, dating apps. It's the same catcalling, right? But they love it because it's attention. They may not always like the message or how it's done, but they like the attention. So catcalling wasn't that bad for some women. Now I'm not advocating it. I think it's stupid, actually. But just to be fair, it says, please look up the definition of toxic masculinity. You're way off base. I'm not way off base. You're way off base. Like, what kind of argument is this? You're wrong. No. And by the way, there's no definition, like textbook definition. It's just a very new term. I'm telling you what my understanding of it is, how people have used it in the modern world now. Ooh, interesting one. All right. Well, there's some kudos here, but I like to usually address people who are disagreeing with me because at least we can have a discussion. Here's another one. It's not just you, Alex. It's not just you, Alex, but people all over the country are together and happy. Most people are not single. Do some stuff in there. You're an incel. Okay, well, I'm not an incel. I do get laid. Luckily, I still don't have a problem with that. So you don't understand basic terms, but that's okay. Yes, people are happily married. Most of the time, they've met before this started to happen. Some men are just continuously simp to their wives and decided to take a very much a beta role in their marriages, and some simply paying to be in a marriage, right? Some men are completely 100% bankroll, and that's how really bad divorces happen, right? So, like, I don't want to be in a marriage where I'm essentially paying the woman to be with me, right? Paying for her meals, paying for her car, paying for her house, and all, I don't want to have a child in my house. And by the way, I know people do this all the time, and it's fine. I'm just saying, for me, it's not what I want. I'm trying to find what Mike said. But I guess I'm gonna read the reply to that. Red5 says, Mike, I agree. It seems to be Alex thinks he's better than any random guy you'd see at Costco based off his stream. He is not. Well, actually, it's a moot point what I think. I mean, so there are some facts, right? For example, my income. I make more than an average guy. Like, that's a fact. Sorry. I don't have any kids, which is rare in my age. So a lot of women want a guy. I don't drink alcohol or do drugs. That's another thing that a lot of times women look for. And so I mean, yeah, I can give you some facts, but some facts are not, are very debatable. Maybe, like, for example, I'm educated. Not all women want an educated guy, which is, I guess, not that bad. So in some ways, I think I'm not better. Better is such a childish word a 5 year old uses, but I feel like I have done better than some men, or maybe even half of the men in America, to position myself to be more attractive to women. I'm also in better shape. In my 46, I play hockey and soccer in leagues. A lot of times, not men over 30 or men over 40. I'm playing leagues with 25-year-old muscly 6'2" guys. You know, I'm on a strict diet. I don't have a belly, so I mean, I you know I'm not going to make excuses for trying to be a better man. However, none of this matters. It doesn't matter what Mike thinks of me, or this dude thinks of me, or what I think of me. This is a marketplace, right? So obviously, American women agree with you. American women don't see that much value here. Thai women will disagree. Filipino women would disagree. Brazilian women would disagree. And I'm going to go there where my value is high. You know, um, just like if you're a software engineer, living in a village in Thailand is not good for you, right? You should move to Silicon Valley. That's where your value will be very high, and that's where you'll be happy. Your career will develop. Same thing here, and here as a potential husband. I totally agree with it. I admit it, but that's going to change in about 10 days. Let's see. Okay. You're gonna have to explain this to me. Oh, I've heard enough to know the problem. You're totally mythomaniac. Mythomaniac? I don't know what that is. If someone can look it up for me, please do. Okay, Love for Pizza says foreign people looking at the US from a different angle than Americans. That's true, and there's some of it, but I do consider myself American. I came here when I was 15. I honestly think my mentality is very American. So, yes, that's right. Strict Chipotle regimen, which, by the way, I've been eating a Chipotle every day pretty much for the last 10 years. Chipotle bowl, if you do it right with the right ingredients, is extremely healthy. If you pick grilled chicken, you don't throw guac on it or tons of sour cream, and you have it with water, and it's grilled and it's a bowl. It's actually, and it's gluten free, GMO free. It is very healthy. Chipotle is definitely has been responsible for my health. Let's see. Um, Andreas says, now it gets fun. You are way better than most, but don't get one. Or maybe you overthink much. Not just let go and have fun. Yeah, no, listen, I don't overthink how good I am or how much better I am or worse I am than others. Like I said, I only care what my potential partner would think, right? And I have made myself the best man I can be for that potential partner, right? So, and I believe for that particular girl that I'm looking for, I indeed am better than most men. That's what I've been working on for 46 years, you know, but I don't care what Mike thinks of me. And because okay, sure. And I actually agree with Mike here. I don't even actually remember what he said, but like my value here as a man, despite my education and income and blah blah blah, it's not. I don't have like, for example, I don't have a neck tattoo. That could be a problem, right? I don't know. Let's just get a few more. Uh, all right. Here's another one. Sorry, guys. I know there's a lot of love here as well, and I really do appreciate it. But I'm trying to have a conversation because I feel like I need to reply to the people who essentially I'm running away from, right? So, and the ones at least are respectful. I got to tell you, pretty much every single critic of me, except for that Bobo guy, has been relatively respectful. So I appreciate that. Red Fives, he says, he means these issues you are bringing up do not hold up to scrutiny or review. Have an issue with all women, many. The issue problem is not them. Well, okay, so maybe you join this live stream later. I made quite a few points why this is not just my opinion. If this was my opinion, there's no reason for this live stream. There's no reason for me to bitch and complain to you guys about my personal girl problems. Okay, I'm self-aware enough to know that that's not a live stream. That needs to be kept to myself. there are time, and I can repeat myself. You know what? Actually, go back to like once this live stream reposts, you can see that I've spent a good amount of time explaining why this is a Western worldwide issue. Why this is not just me, not just my friends, not just some dudes on TikTok that I see posting about this. This is a multi-nation wide phenomenon, and I give you all the reasons why what I am saying is backed up by data, is backed up by a ridiculous number of personal experiences, and is actually happening to pretty much a majority of men in the Western world. So you just missed that part. Oh, Love for Pizza says, I'm Bulgarian, by the way, who lives in Mexico. I did consider it. Let's see. Red Five says, I did join a later. Alex, do not want to come off as a hater. You don't. I like I said, I appreciate you. You've been pretty respectful, and I understand. Listen, I also understand this. Everything that I said today should sound crazy to a person who might have not been part of the dating scene, or maybe was lucky enough to have a good experience. Maybe you live in a small town and where things are still kind of okay, or maybe you're married and you don't know anything about it. Everything I said, Red Five. I wish I knew your name, but it's crazy. So I understand why you might want to challenge me on this, and I don't mind. He says, Alex, I don't want to be a commentator. You do not. I have loved this channel and your pragmatism. I just feel like you're being very one-sided in your views. Is this not Elonish? Oh, so no, I'm not being one-sided. And again, it's not just my view. That's I can emphasize that enough. I do understand this from perspective of women, and I explained that. I think you missed kind of quite a few parts here. I already was very clear that the only the 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 people to blame for the behavior of Western women is men. 100% solely men need to take responsibility for what's happening. I want to be very clear with that. Number one. Number two, I mentioned it that women are not having a good time either. And I explain why from their sides, why their behavior has changed. And I don't blame them for that. You know what I mean? If tomorrow, middle-aged man who's 5'8", start receiving all these messages, which by the way is probably going to happen in Thailand, from all these beautiful women say how great I am, how they want to get together with me, even though most of them probably want my money or status. Yeah, it would be kind of hard not to think that I am the shit, that that I'm getting treated like a celebrity. I'm probably a perfect 10. I'm going to have to do some self-reflecting and realizations, right? So I don't blame most women who think that they are perfect 10s Instagram models when they are, 44-year-old single mothers. I understand that. So I understand the other side and I don't blame them. That's how much I understand it, that I don't blame them. And I have plenty of female friends who are exactly in that same category, and I try to explain it to them and they just don't get it. And I understand that too. Um, uh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, shit like this happens all the time. This comes back to me saying earlier in the live stream that the behavior of a lot of women, I mean, even argue half women, um, nowadays would have been considered and equated to prostitution 20 years ago. And this is one of many examples. I'll actually give you one of mine. Let me take a sip of water because I'm losing my voice. Check Bounce says, a girl I know posted a picture of champagne bottle in a cooler. She was on a date. Someone commented that it looks nice. She replied, especially when I'm not paying for it. This happens all the time. I'll give you a quick anecdote. So I was a month ago, I think. I was at a lounge. I was sitting in the bar. I saw a beautiful girl walk by. I didn't even know why I approached her because I already knew I was going for Thailand. But I had a conversation with her for about 10 minutes. We exchanged, and she gave me her number. And she was with her family, so I just wanted her to go back to her family and maybe just talk later. And she, just 10 minutes, quick conversation, get to know each other, get the number, and I go back to the bar where I was sitting and having my dinner. She went back to the section. It was just actually a separate room of this lounge where she was with her family. About half an hour later, a waitress comes up to me, and I'm a regular there, so waitresses kind of all the servers know me. She's like, "Hey, are you going to pay that for that girl's dinner and drinks? And I said, no, but can I ask you who's asking? Are you asking me as a server because you saw me talking to her and you want to know if I want to pay for her meal as a gesture? Or did she ask you to ask me if a man she just met for 10 minutes would like to give her some money? And by the way, that would probably be in about 80 to $100. So she said no. She asked. Now I confronted that girl. I because I already had her number. I said, "Did you just assume that I'm going to pay for your meal after knowing you for 10 minutes?" Um, Again, single mother in her 40s. She's like, "Yeah." So do you like you tell me how this is not essentially prostitution? Like she wanted me to pay $80 for 10 minutes of her time. I mean, you tell me how. But this is so common, and the I believe that girl who posted that, all of her friends were like, "Yeah, go get it, milk the." I mean, she probably got a lot of encouragement for this behavior. You see that behavior being encouraged in the media, and again, this comes down to the reason that girl asked for me to pay for her dinner after 10 minutes of knowing her is because there's a bunch of guys, simps, have before, and probably will do again. That's why. But it really is, it's disgusting. If you ask me, and we are to blame. The man. Let's see. All right. Well, guys, I think I think I've laid out everything that I know, experienced, and found out in the last 5 years. At the end of the day, you don't have to agree with me. You don't even have to agree with me now. You might realize this later. Because at first I didn't want to believe this either. So it's fine. This is my universe. And I choose to change it. I think if anything, even if you disagree with me, if anything you take away from this live stream is that if you don't like how your life is going, or if you want something really bad and you're not able to attain it the way you're going about things currently, change it. Change it. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be sometimes expensive. It's going to be tough on you mentally, emotionally. It's going to be tough, but you can change it. And if you can't at the moment, work your way to the point where you can, because you have only one life to live and it's up to you. And every day is precious, right? Every day is precious. You have to live every day to its fullest. That's kind of the reason I don't celebrate my birthdays. I try to live every day like it's my birthday. If I want a cake and see my friends and get some balloons today, that's what I'm going to do. So change things that are not working for you. Don't get stuck in the world, in a situation, in a job, in a relationship that you know is not good for you. You know you're literally wasting your time and a lot of times money and energy and stress and your years. Time is most precious thing. Um, and you're only staying because it's comfortable. Don't do it. Move. You think this is comfort? I know you guys thinking, oh my God, Alex is going to have a great time in Thailand. It's beautiful. It's cheap. All these women. He's going to feel, all of it is true. But I am going there because I want to change what's not working for me, which at the end of the day is having a life partner who I want to spend the rest of my life with. Not about money, not about the beauty of the world, not about it's about that. So if anything you take away from the stream this video, please take it that whatever it is that's not working for you, even if it's a little thing, maybe it's just your job, maybe it's just like the sandwich shop you go to and you don't get treated well, go and drive an extra 3 minutes to a different sandwich shop and get the service and the sandwich you want. Just start small sometimes. I'm going to go and get a sandwich in Thailand. So I do what you want with this. I believe I have just outlined everything that's wrong and it's been going on with dating and relationships between men and women in the Western world. I will be happy to give you an update in another 2 3 months to tell you that I was either very right or very wrong or in between. depending on this live stream does. It looks like it's about 300 people watching. Thank you for all the respectful comments. I know this is very controversial. I know women absolutely hate it when I say stuff like that. I know you can be upset with me for many different reasons, from either just leaving America or talking about women a certain way. I understand, but thank you for still listening and understanding, hopefully. And like I said, if you don't like something about your life, change it, like right after this. All right, back to electric car videos. I have quite a few very interesting for you guys. I'm going to expose some emails from Volkswagen that banned me from their media trips. I'm going to expose the way fully charged channel and pretty much everybody else does their car reviews, how untruthful they are and why. And I have another debate with Warren that's coming up. So quite a few interesting videos. I've already made them because I want to dedicate the month of June to just my move to my 1 week in California and my move to Thailand, creating a new life. I will still continue doing shorts. If you haven't seen, I've been doing shorts every day, mainly answering some questions from comments. So yeah, looking forward to that. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.